what's up? It's Tati and I'm back with another review, this time ROH TV. We're on episode 7. Now, I was a little bit surprised. The show had a really great pace. However, it ended a few minutes before 8:30, and honestly, I was a little surprised about that because they never actually confirmed that it was a 2-hour show, but consistently they've been giving us a 2-hour show. Now, I have noticed that ever since they've been taping at these larger venues along with Dynamite or Rampage, the episodes started getting shorter. Now, that could be an issue moving forward because they're taping before and after these shows. They need to make sure that they're over with the taping by a certain time, especially if it's before Dynamite. And also, if it's after a Rampage, they're going to want to keep it short because that's a lot of hours of people in the audience sitting down watching wrestling. So they'll probably try to keep it short, and that might be an issue with the quality of the show that they're putting out. And I would really hate for that to be the case because I really do think that they've been doing a really great job. And if they feel like they have to rush through these things and not give a solid show, then they might as well go back to Universal Studios in Orlando and just continue the tapings there. We don't want to lose the quality of the show moving forward, but I still do like the feel of them using the bigger venues, but not at the cost of the quality. First match of the night, Mark Briscoe versus Ari Debari. Now, look, Mark has gone through everybody that's part of the Varsity Athletes or the Trust Busters. To be honest, I'm kind of confused who's in what group or if they're all the same thing at this point. But basically, he's gone through everybody who is under Mark Sterling. And every time we have these matches, it's the same old with the whole interference. So unfortunately, I think that takes away from this particular match because it's like, okay, we're seeing it way too often. Now, I've said this before, Mark Briscoe, he needs some time as a single competitor before he can hold some gold. I think it's time for him to start being part of a storyline. We haven't seen Samoa Joe since the pay-per-view, so I'm not sure what's going on with that and if Mark Briscoe still wants to go for the TV title, but we need to see a much more solid story going forward with Mark if they are gearing him towards winning that title. This match kind of felt like other matches that we've seen with the other Varsity Athletes, so nothing special about this here. But I do want to say here that there's been a little bit of confusion because we're seeing perhaps an alliance with Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh and the whole crew over there. However, we're also seeing an alliance with FTR as well, so I'm not really sure where that's gonna come from when it comes to ROH in particular. However, Mark Briscoe takes the win. Varsity Athletes are attacking Mark Briscoe, and then we do have FTR that comes out and save the day and helps Mark Briscoe. So it looks like we're going to see at least 3 of the members of the Varsity Athletes versus FTR and Mark Briscoe. While that's okay, I don't mind seeing that. I really feel like we need to find something solid to stick with for Mark Briscoe moving forward. It's a little confusing onto where they're going with him at this point. Next, we had Sky Blue versus Kelly Maiden. Now, there's an issue I have with this. The match was decent, nothing special. However, I still feel like once it comes to the women's division, aside from Athena, we don't see much personality with any of these girls. I still think that even though the show is taped, they should take advantage of filming like little vignettes, filming things where we can see some personality from these girls. Not just the girls, but the guys too. But I really think the girls will definitely benefit from this because with the females, they're putting matches together where there are no storylines, no bills, no nothing. And yet we don't really know these girls, not in a personal level or anything, but as far as their characters. So it really takes away from the match. It just feels like you're just watching 2 girls going at it and there's nothing else special about it. So I really hope that ROH, also AEW as well, take advantage of, of filming things behind the scenes where they can add onto the show so we can have a little bit of personality with these girls. It was a decent match, but nothing special. I just don't like to feel like things are just put together just to put them together. Sky Blue takes the win. Next, we had Mike Bennett versus Darius Martin. I was a little bit nervous because Darius does need some help, but actually he did really well with this match, unlike the match that he had with Matt Taven, where there were some obvious hiccups in that match. Now, you guys already know the Kingdom, they work as a team, even if it's one-on-one. So there was interference going on in this match. However, I do feel like Darius really stepped up a bit in this match. So I didn't really see anything where I could criticize him for. However, with that being said, I do think, AEW and ROH are probably thinking that maybe he'll struggle on his own. So out of the blue, we do have Matt Taven that gets involved into this match. So the match does end DQ. And I thought that was interesting. And now they're beating up on Darius. And all of a sudden, here comes Action Andretti. He comes out to defend Darius. And now they're a tag team. And I think this was the right call because I think Darius still needs some work as a singles competitor. Obviously, the best way to get better is for him to, work at it. But I think they probably don't have that much faith into him, which is why they paired him up with Action Andretti. I do think that this is a really good call. However, he could have probably benefited if he has some time to work on his own in the ring. But I just don't think right now is a good time. But I think this is a great pairing. I mean, I think we'll see good things from them. Up next, Wheeler Yuta versus Tracy Williams. This was an excellent match. Now, both these guys are so amazing in the ring. I really enjoyed this because this was way more on a technical side compared to the other matches on this card. These two really have great chemistry in the ring. Wheeler Yuta definitely has something to prove after losing the Pure Championship. We've seen him improve so much. He is just absolutely a beast in the ring, but Tracy Williams is too. Both these guys have a way of moving in the ring so confidently. Everything that they do, it just seems like they're just so sure of everything, and I really like that. I don't like hesitation. I don't like wrestlers second guessing what they're doing in the ring. These two guys really, really put their best out there. I really enjoyed this match. I don't want to say this is my favorite, but this is definitely one of the best matches that they've had ever since ROH came back. And so I really enjoyed this. I do recommend checking this out. However, I wasn't surprised that Wheeler Yuta took this win. To be honest, it could have gone either way, and I would have been okay with that because both of them did such a great job. But right now, with all the storylines going on with the BCC, Wheeler Yuta taking this win really makes sense. I am so excited to see what Tracy Williams got in store with ROH. These two guys are absolutely wonderful in the ring. Love it. Next, we have Shibata teaming up with Alex Coughlin versus the Workhorsemen. I would say this is my second favorite match of the night, which really surprised me. Now, we do see the Workhorsemen. They usually work on Dark and Elevation as enhancements. So we never really got to see them being taken seriously. They were on ROH last week teaming up with, Shane Taylor in the trios match. But this match right here really made me see them so differently. Me personally, I think Anthony Henry really impressed me here. I enjoyed everybody in the ring. Matter of fact, I think Shibata really brings something different into this match. It was more of a teacher-student type of thing with Shibata and Alex, and we've even seen Shibata showing I don't want to say animosity, but he was definitely frustrated with Alex as a partner at times, where he even broke up a submission that Alex was in and literally stomped on him like, bro, get it together. You know what I mean? I was just like, whoa, that was absolutely insane. And even though I think they worked well, I really feel like at times you saw Alex kind of showing some doubt in this match, which was upsetting Shibata, because Shibata is so confident in everything that he does, and he doesn't want his student to be, showing that he has no confidence in the ring. I think everybody had really great chemistry, and I was just so surprised with how well the workhorsemen worked with these two. It just goes to show that some people that are jobbing all the time, they're super talented. And Anthony Henry, I felt like, had really great exchanges with Shibata, to the point that I thought perhaps after the match he might challenge Shibata for the Pure Championship. And unfortunately, that does not happen. So we do have Shibata and Coughlin taking the win. And right after that, it looks like Coughlin is challenging Shibata for the Pure Championship title, which I found to be really surprising, because if anything, I would have given that opportunity to Anthony Henry, who showed a lot of confidence in this match, had a lot of great exchanges with Shibata, while we did have Alex, who was showing some doubt throughout this match. I would have definitely put Anthony over Alex to go against Shibata. But either way, I do think that they're going to deliver a really great match. They didn't announce if it's official yet, but I'm looking forward to that. Next, we had a Willow Nightingale versus Little Mean Kathleen. This was like 2 minutes squash match. Honestly, I did not like this at all. The women's division, whether it was AEW or ROH, cannot afford squash matches at any means necessary. They should have at least gone well over 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes at least. I just felt like you don't see anything from these girls at all. I know she's more of a local talent or whatnot, but it's like, well, what good does it does for Willow to be in the ring for 2 minutes? This is a girl who had an amazing match against Athena a couple of weeks ago. I feel like we should keep that momentum going. I have nothing really to say about this. Y'all need to get it together. Obviously, Willow takes the win. Didn't like this at all. Next, we had Tony Nese versus Stu Grayson. I'm so glad Stu Grayson is back. We've actually got a chance to see him much better than how he was used during his first run with AEW. I do feel like this is one of his best matches since he's been back. We really get to see him in a different light. And also with Tony Nese as well, when there's no interference, I really look at Tony Nese differently. I feel like he's been able to shine more. So we didn't have Josh Woods or Ari Debari ringside, just Mark Sterling getting into little hissy fits with Eva Uno, who's also ringside for Stu Grayson. Now, I really feel like these two guys here can really move up on the roster because they're super, super talented. Now, Tony Nese, I really feel like at some point, he'll probably be the first one to break away from Mark Sterling and friends, because he is super talented all on his own. And, you know, sometimes getting that character where you're relying on other people that constantly interfere in your matches kind of takes away from the wrestler itself. However, with this match, I felt like we were truly able to see what type of performer Tony Nese is, and Stu Grayson as well. Now, Stu Grayson does get the win with this match. And I was kind of wondering, like, what happened with Dark Order with the whole BCC thing? Kind of felt like they're no longer part of that in a way. Probably because of Hangman now being injured and he's put away or whatever, so that they can feud with the Elite. But then after that match, we do have the Righteous that comes out, and they're having a stare down with Dark Order. But on commentary, they keep saying they're not looking at Evil Uno. They're only looking at Stu Grayson. So that was a little confusing. So I'm not sure where they're going with that. We do have a promo with the Righteous after, and they're basically talking about only Stu Grayson and not Evil Uno. So I'm not sure if maybe they want to recruit him or anything. I have no idea. It was a little confusing. So I'm interested to see exactly where that goes. This was a really excellent match. Up next, we had Athena versus Ashley D'Amboise. This was a Proven Grounds match, so Ashley wins in 10 minutes by either just lasting 10 minutes or being able to pin Athena within the 10 minutes. Then she will get a future title shot. When it comes to these types of matches, I feel like it kind of doesn't really matter if the opponent wins the match. But I didn't think she was going to take the win. This was her first time being part of ROH since they've returned. We have seen Ashley in AEW, but she has not been able to grab a contract with them. But I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up being signed with ROH in the near future. She's someone that's more of an enhancement talent that we see. She's part of countless promotions. So you've probably seen her several times outside of AEW as well. Either way, I do think she put up a really great fight. I did enjoy this match, but with only 10 minutes, sometimes I think it's not enough to truly show what the opponent has to prove. Athena, she's definitely keeping into character. She's definitely being a bully in and out the ring, which I really do enjoy. However, even though Ashley gave her best, it just wasn't enough. We do have Athena taking the win. I think that was pretty predictable since we haven't seen much of Ashley anyway. Great match. This was obviously better than Willow matches. For whatever reason, they are really taking the ROH Women's Championship very seriously. But anyone who's not holding the gold, they're not taking so seriously when it comes to the women's division. So they need to change that real quick. It's main event time. We have the ROH World title on the line. Claudio Castagnoli versus Metalik, and this was my favorite match of the night. For whatever reason, this really surprised me. I honestly wasn't expecting too much of this. Obviously, these guys are two different styles, and they obviously are of two different sizes. So I kind of felt like maybe they might not mesh well in the ring, especially for the ROH World title. However, I was absolutely wrong. But one of the reasons why I kind of doubted this match being so great was because Metalik has been in trios actions or tag team action since he's been with ROH. Sometimes I felt like we didn't really get to see him in the best way with having partners. Sometimes when you just break people away and let them do things on their own, you get to truly see how great they are. And this is one of those matches. Metalik was absolutely phenomenal here. Claudio as well. Now, with the size difference, I thought like certain moves might not be executed well, and it actually was. So me doubting them was like so unnecessary. They were able to pull off a really great match, and the audience was feeling it as well. Obviously, with the size difference, you do have Metalik being more of an underdog in this match, and sometimes I just think the crowd is confused on when to cheer for Claudio. So Claudio was well received coming into the match, despite him still being part of the BCC and being super heelish right now. We've been seeing that with ROH, where it's like people are still cheering for him, and sometimes they're booing for him too, but it's like he's still in between at this point because he's a ROH champion. So I don't think he's super over as a heel in ROH at this point, but definitely on AEW TV shows, he's definitely over as hell as a heel. Now, these two really do put their best out there, and they deliver an excellent match. This is definitely one of my favorite matches since ROH has returned. I do feel like consistently, if you're looking for a show with great matches throughout a whole show, ROH is probably the best option for you. Yes, the women's matches are not all that, but Athena is really tearing the house down with her matches. But Claudio is definitely showing why he deserves to be ROH champion every single time he gets in the ring, especially when he defends that title. I absolutely loved the performance with these two. I'm really interested to see where they're going with a storyline for Claudio. So the issue is, earlier on the show, we had Eddie, who had like a 10-minute video of him explaining why he's out right now. He has a hernia, he needs surgery. He's talking about why he lost and everything. And to be honest, I felt like it played on too long. But Eddie is such a relatable guy that everything that he said, you kind of was like, oh, okay, I totally agree. He talks about how he let his demons get the best of him, and had he just gone into that match with a clearer mind frame and just kept the title on his mind, he probably would have been able to win that match against Claudio. And now he has an injury, he got to sit home or whatever. So who's next in line for the ROH championship? I have no idea, but Claudio is doing a wonderful job being champion. I just really wish that now that we've had 7 weeks, that we have more storylines, solid storylines moving forward. It's time for them to truly, separate who's ROH, who's AEW. I don't think it makes sense for people to be jobbing outside of ROH but looking so good in ROH. Main example, Silas Young, who had a squash match with Powerhouse Hobbs in like less than a minute, and he just looked absolutely ridiculous in his hometown. That too. However, on ROH, we really get to see a really good showing of Silas Young. So it's like, well, what are we doing here? Are we sometimes using these guys to be jobbers or not? It doesn't really make sense how they're booking this. But either way, I do think that now we have the foundation that ROH has been looking for. It's time to really get these storylines playing out. Their next pay-per-view, I don't think they announced exactly when that will be, but they only have like 3 pay-per-views per year. So now the time it's time right now to get these storylines going so that people are more interested, not only in just buying the membership, but also in these pay-per-views as well. This was a great episode. Only less than an hour and a half. But it was enjoyable. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back with Rampage. Now, they have the basketball thing going on tomorrow, so I have no idea when Rampage will come on. But it's probably going to be maybe somewhat after midnight. Thanks for watching.